4? I can't remember which one it is.
Just block the word Betsy and everything else is lovely.
Go back and watch that again. Betsy. Is it like the principal or something, or vice principal?
No, she's our education secretary.
Sorry, you're talking real.
Wildly unqualified and making a mess of everything she touches.
Right. I thought you were talking about The Wire. That's what I was trying to remember. A character named Betsy, which wouldn't.
A lot of the younger educators that I know learned everything about the education system that they know from School of Rock. So.
Oh yeah, that's me
there's
too.
So many there's so many young teachers out there who are just like, yeah, I saw School of Rock. Now I'm going to be a teacher, and they think that's what that is. It's like, no, it's really not like that at all.
Conjunction,
maybe
junction,
on a good day.
What's your function? They're effective though, you know. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
No, I meant the Jack Black movie, School of Rock.
Ah, there we go.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the actual School of Rock videos.
No, that's Schoolhouse Rock.
Okay, I'll just get you set up here. And get rid of your... Can't have you...
Still frozen.
No, you're not. Not on my end. But I can see you moving, so don't pick your nose. Christopher, can you hear us? See us? There's always got to be one where audio borks.
I promise you, I'm going to take a picture of the freezing and send it to you.
Everybody refresh Chrome or Firefox, whatever you happen to be in. Just refresh the browser.
Right.
We'll start there.
Refreshed.
And were you frozen, Collin, too?
Yeah, I think so.
Christopher has slow video but no sound.
Oh,
okay.
I have sound now.
Okay.
I can hear him, yeah.
Yeah, I can hear him.
Sweet.
So yeah, with video being sent, you should have Christopher, this is your first time on the video version, right?
Yes, it is.
You've been on parental leave and...
Yeah.
Okay. So it's live right now to the internet. We haven't officially started the show, but we will in a second. You have the Google Doc thing in front of you.
I do.
Possibly. Perfect. Everybody's got that. Just see if I'll get rid of that text after we start. Still freezing up, says atU2 Conga. That's on Periscope. I wonder if let's go back here. Oh, there's a view count on there. I didn't realize.
Frozen again.
Oh.
That's weird. You guys are all fine here. I can see. So I guess don't
I'm
worry. As long as can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Because your video is coming through fine here. That's really weird. Because you guys are, I can hear you just fine.
It's like we freeze and then we go slow motion, and then it unfreezes for a little bit, and then it freezes again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's happening here too.
Okay, so don't worry, don't panic if the video is being goofy on your end. If for some reason you can't hear audio at all, and during the show even, and obviously you're sort of expected, or you're hoping or wanting to or expected to talk, then if you just say it's frozen up, and I'll cut that in the version that goes out to people. But yeah, don't freak out if your video goes away for a while. We'll try and work through that one. And hopefully nobody has a major malfunction. Just make sure, where's my audio? Sorry if this is really loud right away, just let me So Tassoula's pulling her headphones away. Christopher and Collin are you grinning and bearing it? Okay.
I'm doing it in anticipation of you blasting.
No, that's as loud as it was going to be. So.
Oh, okay.
You could hear it though.
You
guys could hear.
I didn't hear anything.
I can hear. Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
I can't hear anything except your voices.
Except your voice. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, right here. Let me try it again. Okay.
Oh, that's not bad.
Okay.
That's normal.
You know what else I don't like?
Oh Lord. He's gonna kill you if you use that volcano clip one more time. You're probably fired.
No.
Oh, here we go.
That is loud.
Oh man.
Okay. So it's all working, is what you're saying.
What a great night.
True. Yes, that was a wonderful night.
I wonder if it would be repeated again if we were doing something, hey? Because they're definitely like heavy on the promotional effort. Random showing up.
Don't get me started about their
stations.
promotional efforts right now. I've still got a blister on my foot from running through Manhattan. So.
Oh, no. Like failed viewing attempts of promotional efforts.
If somebody had a camera on me and Jill that night, it would qualify for like America's Funniest Home Videos. It's like the cab's not going fast enough. We're getting out of the cab. I don't know where I'm going. Hold my hand. Okay, we're holding hands. We've got presents for our friend because we were supposed to be on our way to a birthday dinner, and her present for Beth falls on the ground and we have to stop and pick it up. And oh my God, we were falling and running and out of breath. And it was just, oh my God, those guys, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Not the first time, I'm ashamed to say, I've chased them and not found them, but that's the closest I've ever come by far. It was like the scene in Back to the Future when Marty just shows up as Doc's getting shot again, you know. So that's exactly what we were like. We were like stopping our run, you know, in the middle of the street. Awesome.
They found me. I don't know how, but they found me.
Exactly. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Yes.
Anybody know what my YouTube channel URL is? Sorry, I'm just trying to find it here.
Does anybody ever listen to us there anyway? I mean, is it worth it?
We had somebody last.
We had somebody. We had one human. Your other computer. Let me guess.
Yeah, and if there's Periscope tomfoolery going on, feel free to. When I was doing the pre-show prep, I had it streaming, and there was people popping in just repeating what other people were typing.
Tassoula's mic was cutting in and out while she was talking here and there. Am I the only one hearing that, or?
Ruh-roh.
No, I heard a little bit of a stutter, and then it cleared up.
Uh-oh.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't. It all came through good on here, so it.
Okay.
So far, so good. So, I mean, the usual, I guess, on your end, make sure Dropbox, Netflix, etc. is off. But we're at the mercy of everybody's individual internet connections too, or Wi-Fi or whatever.
Oh, sure. Let me quit some of that stuff.
I turned everything else off in my house. Yeah.
If you're like Matt, you can send an email to everybody else in your house saying, "Get off Netflix now," or it's gonna kill you.
He has a very highly connected family.
I am the only awake adult
devices.
here.
Oh. I have a cat, and my cat is walking around right now, so she's very vocal.
So Michelle said, "Oh my God, it's Chris." I'm assuming she's talking about you.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, actually, I haven't even looked at the notes. Is there
Did you know that you tagged songs of innocence instead of songs of experience in your last tweet, Chris?
Oh, did I? Was it me?
No, Chris ends.
Oh, okay.
Yes, our song-by-song review of Songs of Innocence.
Oh, that's on. Oh, shoot, that's the one that went on Periscope.
I mean, I'm happy to talk. To
I just did a new one.
I listened to it today on vinyl. It was glorious again.
At YouTube podcast.
In the one where you list everything out, you say experience, so that one's right. But it's just the one with the video link that's wrong.
That's the Auto Magic one from Periscope that, and YouTube probably too. But oh well, who uses hashtags? Anyways?
Whatever.
Only the bots, really.
Right.
Do not watch. You're in Scotland. Where are yous? We are in all over the world, actually. I'm in Canada. The other three are in the U.S. trying to negotiate their health care.
Completely different parts of the U.S. tonight. Three of us.
Zoo Carolina says, talk about Back to the Future. Sorry, sound is terrible in Periscope, cutting in and out. Yeah, we're getting some mixed messages from what's happening out on the streams right now.
It's always something every time, right?
Yep.
Let me quit some stuff.
But you tested it earlier today, right? I saw the Twitch thing pop up that you were testing it. It always works fine when it's just you, though, right? It's adding other people that complicates.
Yeah, but it's weird because in the Slipstream saying it's not for him, it's fine. Or for him, it's fine. But not for Roland. Sorry, I didn't connect your username earlier today, Roland. Rohod67. And actually, in answer to your tweets, Tassoula has listed the Songs of Innocence and Songs of Experience back to back.
Oh. I can't see. The screen is so blurry, I can't see the comments.
Same for mine.
It's like you're all
that part,
distorted.
Yeah, that part might be
except for Eli and Cyan, nobody is clear, basically.
Working well for Zoo Carolina. Okay. All right, well, it is all good on my end, so the recorded version will be fine, hopefully, and it seems to be good for most people, but not Roland in Periscope. Might have to just refresh Periscope, Roland. Try that. Or I can just, you can blame Newfoundland, because maybe going across the pond there, it's catching up some bad data. Songs are good. Nobody wants 13. I'll take 13. And
I don't want to be grabby. I'd already claimed enough, right?
Yeah, I have 2. I have like 4 already.
I have 3. I have 3.
I have 4. Yeah. For some reason, there's a J next to the blackout. It should be mine, right? CS.
Yeah, I think so.
CJ wasn't supposed to be you, Chris, right?
No,
it was me. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's what I thought.
Although I'd be happy to talk about the blackout too.
Oh yeah, I should have actually said.
Oh, I know.
Type your name instead of initials. There's 3 of us with C's.
Everybody's a C except for me. Yeah. And there's 2 C and there's 2 Chris E's.
Two CEs. Yeah.
Yeah. Chances are I'll mess something up there. All right. Tassoula, did you happen to, or can you tweet out the whichever one you want, or?
I will. I can. I haven't, but I will. Let me get into the at account instead of my own.
Fabiano was on earlier. He said he would be up, but I'm guessing maybe he fell asleep, or he was having to do something with selling Phil Collins tickets or Phil Collins something. He didn't.
He's a busy concert goer.
I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was selling tickets or like he was involved on the.
So you didn't send it from. You didn't send it from Good Stuff. You sent it from your own.
Oh yeah, right.
My lord, there's a lot of things to handle here. All right.
Hey, you.
Okay, now I'm retweeting the one that actually says Songs of Experience.
Yeah.
With all the links in it, so people can. Actually, I'll undo that and quote so people know we're alive now. Okay. This is really exciting for the people who are tuning in, watching me tweet from the atU2 account. Okay.
Yeah, it's very exciting radio. Back to Back will be good. Double album, concept album. I think it's a trilogy we're going to see here, hopefully, but
I think
someday.
so too. And
yeah,
the way that Adam spoke today, I think that he kind of confirmed that in a way.
Are they going to be called Songs of Ascent?
Well, he said that they were going to be old men or whatever, elderly or something, right?
Yeah.
Which isn't that far off. So, I mean, considering how long their albums take gestation-wise.
Oh,
About
that's
right.
true.
And Songs of Ascent has already taken, what, 10 years?
At least.
Is that how long it's been
That's
gestating?
true.
All right, well, let's get this show on the road. Split all recordings. And
Crazy freeze.
Oh, there we go.
yeah, if you're not speaking, if it's you don't hold the conch, and it's being goofy, you can try just refreshing Chrome because that shouldn't interrupt anything else that's going on for the other people.
I'm going to do that one more time before we start then because you're still
you know
funky.
what? I should refresh too.
You'll disappear video-wise. I guess everybody's going to try.
Perfect. But now you look normal, so it works.
Oh.
See, that worked, right?
Oh, except...
You're not hearing anything?
We could hear you.
Yeah.
Famous last words.
No.
Yeah, refreshing shouldn't cause any issues. No
Damn it.
problem.
Is Comcast working okay?
Can you hear me? There we go. Oh. Oh, broken sound. It's better video, though.
It was better video till you said that. Then we started.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, you guys are all look good on this end, so I don't know. I'm not. I'm sympathetic to how it's frustrating on your end. Yeah, it's all
There you just cycled
extreme
through all of
close-ups.
us.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Good times.
I'll try and do that occasionally through the conversation, just for whatever.
Okay, now I can read the comments, so that's good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's better now.
And hopefully, if folks are saying weird stuff all over the place, we'll get rid of them. Like things about Nicolas Cage in his underwear or whatever. We'll.
Can you actually
Just
like
do it.
block somebody? Do you have that power?
Yeah,
Can you like?
on dashboard or on Twitch, I have it open. I don't have the YouTube channel or the Periscope channel open right now. They haven't been too bad. And where is she? U2 Conga has been blocking people on there. If they're she's been helping moderate. I think that it works for the whole channel. So,
Good.
Thank
but
you.
yeah, I can always open Periscope on my phone if it's because I think it's on my feed. Yeah, I don't know how that works. But anyways, hopefully
It's
people
not
can
on the
use-
atU2 feed because I have
No.
the atU2 feed on my phone.
So, anyways, let's give her nails here and see how it goes, and then if it gets really, really bad, we'll pause and restart or something. All right, hello and welcome to the atU2 podcast, episode number 74. We're at all the way up to 74, and talking all things U2. And on this episode, we're talking album news, specifically album review. We had a little quick B-side, anxious to talk about it, recording last episode with Matt and Ian, but this time we set them aside, as it were, and got some more educated panelists, I'll say. No, I'm just kidding. We actually prepared a little bit this time instead of just quickly hitting record and talking off. Like Matt had only heard the album once, I think, at that point. And so with me for this episode from my right, I don't know where they are in your world, but to my right is Christopher. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, guys.
Good to have you back.
Good to be back.
And bottom right around the clock, I guess, Collin back to the show. Welcome back, Collin.
Thank you.
And Tassoula completing the, square? Circle? No, square. I don't know.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Yes, square. Go
Obvious
figure.
U2 connection there. Yeah, hopefully anybody listening is familiar enough to connect the dots on that one. So hopefully everybody out there, it's been now, 5 days? Songs of Experience is out. You've been digesting, listening, and like we talked about in episode 72, your experience of listening to a new U2 album. Briefly, maybe, folks, if you can tell us what your experience was like listening. How did you choose to listen to the album for the first time when it came out on Friday, or wherever you were in the world when it came out? We'll just do the circle again here. So, Christopher, starting with you.
I listened to it in my office for the first time at school before I started teaching classes at 9:30 in the morning. I had about an hour in my office, so I listened to bits and pieces of it, and also in the car on the way to work, and then when I got home, I put on the headphones and really listened carefully at home, using several pairs of headphones, open and closed back. So I got different sound experiences from it.
So is that not all at the same time, I assume?
No.
All right. I'll ask the dumb questions. All right, Colin, how about you?
I listened to, well, first I made the choice to listen to Songs of Innocence again first before Songs of Experience, because I'd heard about all the callbacks that were in the latter. So I really thought I owed it the proper, to me, it seemed like the proper way to listen to it was to listen to it as a kind of a double album. So that's how I approached it. So it was good because I hadn't listened to Innocence in a while. At least all the way through, not in like a year or two. So so listening to it back to back was a really great way to do it, and it actually well, we'll get into it. My reaction to it later, but that's how I listen to it. Yes,
Save it for the podcast. Thanks. So,
yeah.
Tassoula, how about you?
Yeah, the first time I heard it, I was still in New York, so I was in the apartment. I was staying in New York, and right at midnight, right when it started downloading into my iTunes, I turned off the lights and listened. And then I did what Collin did today for the first time, and I listened to Songs of Innocence back to back on vinyl with Songs of Experience on vinyl as well.
Nice.
Did I mention I have 3 different types of albums of this? I have digital, CD, and vinyl. Yeah.
I'm still waiting for my CD. There is something about that,
Same.
having a physical version that feels like it's real, although I've listened to it a bunch, but yeah.
The vinyl's really beautiful too.
Yeah, I know. I had never really wanted to get vinyl until I saw their promotional
Gorgeous.
stuff for the vinyl one.
Oh,
it looks really nice.
It's an absolutely gorgeous
blue. It's just
piece.
gorgeous.
Yeah. Translucent. It's awesome.
Yeah. All right. And so just in case you've been living under a rock somehow and have missed any of the U2 promotional stuff that's been happening, worth just checking out. You can check out atU2.com for details and links and stuff like that. We won't go into great detail here, but Bono Edge were on Howard Stern today, wherever we are here now. Yeah, as we record. Adam was on BBC Radio today, I think, or it came out today. Bono and Edge were in the Berlin subway today. Berlin. Yeah.
That they were.
Bono
and on the
Edge.
subway. Bono drove the subway.
Yeah, that one's actually worth watching too. It's hilarious. Yeah, just seeing them perform in the subway and see Dallas Shue in the background there, probably worried about guitar damage or whatever on the subway. But Bono and Edge also did release a promo video for their OMG's fundraising promotional efforts / thing for playing mini golf or putt, as Edge put it, which is awesome. I have I forgot to cue that one up.
A good promo.
It's it's worth. It made me sad actually that they weren't on, because they were on SNL as well. That's the other thing I forgot to have in the notes. There's been so many things, but that they don't get involved in the skits on SNL ever, Saturday Night Live. So I don't know. I'm sure it's a decision they make. I'm sure SNL is open to artists appearing on.
I think this time it was probably more about the timing, because they were in Los Angeles the whole week, and then they just got there like the day before, like when I did, and there wouldn't have been time to rehearse all that. So yeah.
So and what was the last one? I think. Was there anything else? That's all I had in my notes here. Quickly,
well, playing in the street in New York as well.
Oh right, yeah. That you were attempting to get minutes late.
12 minutes behind.
So. Who knows where? I guess just make sure you check your shower or check wherever. They might show up somewhere else too.
Don't get people excited now.
And just in terms of listener follow-up from the last episode, just a few folks who sent in some tweets about how they choose to listen. Dean Kelly at Dean Kelly U2 said, I take the day off work when a U2 album is released and it will be on repeat all day long. At She Wore Lemon 3 says, whenever a new album comes out, I need to go to the store to buy it, sit in the car and study the artwork and listen in the car, soaking in every minute. And Actung Bubbles, I lay in bed, no lights, and just let it play. The world is dead to me at that time. And
nice.
Elise1 said, we had asked, I think Matt and I on the previous episode asked about sending snaps in of where you are in the world when you listen to it. And she's got a picture chair album. So nice. Very cool. And yeah, if you send in, we joked sort of about sending in pictures or selfies of yourself listening to the podcast wherever you happen to be in the world. That's always cool. You can use hashtag atU2 on Twitter to do that, and or anything else, any comments, questions, suggestions, even constructive criticism for the podcast. Use hashtag atU2, and we'll collect those all into the program proper. So for our roundtable today, though, we wanted to spend the most of the episode doing a proper song-by-song review, as we've done in the past. We've done every album by U2 to this point. You can check the archives at goodstuff.fm/atU2 and listen to everything from Boy to, after this, Songs of Experience. And so we have various staffers from atU2 on to talk, and it was a bit of a mad chat. So I'll just make a note, too, that unlike previous episodes, we're not going to have any of the audio from the songs from the album interspersed as we talk about it, just because U2's or management or record company, some algorithm is being a little extra aggressive, and so we don't want to set off any lawyer notes or takedown notices or anything like that would otherwise upset the U2 gods. But so before we get into the song by song review, I'm just curious, Collin kind of started in on it, but your overall sort of like gut reaction to that first time you heard it, or second time, or however many times it took before you had a gut reaction. Hopefully it wasn't too negative, but just your first time hearing the album and your sort of thoughts, without going into a lot of detail on each song, but starting to keep doing the clockwise thing here. Christopher, with you.
Sure. I listened to it in the car and at school in my office, but I was kind of distracted. So I listened to it again when I got home with my wife over our big stereo speakers, and it hit me that this album was brilliant. And then the album has gotten exponentially better with every listen since then. It's wonderful. I love it.
All right, Collin, how about you?
Relief and joy. Because Songs of Innocence just doesn't hold up for me that well. I mean, I like it, but I don't love it. And just the production on this album knocked me out. I was just like, oh, this is great. This is the U2 I love. This is what I want more of, and I'm getting it. So I was very happy on the first listen.
And Tassoula, how about you?
So I'm just flip what Collin said, and that's me. Like I love Songs of Innocence. I had a visceral reaction to it the first time I heard it. I like this album. I don't love it.
Yeah, and that's I am in the love, more love than hate. But I was a little worried hearing it for the first time. There was a few moments where I was like, I'm not sure where this is exactly headed, and the sound doesn't feel, I don't know, for lack of a better term, right, but obviously it's just all subjective. There's no right and wrong here. But there was kind of like that moment of okay, I've been waiting for this, and this is what I'm hearing, and I'm not sure. But for me, on repeated listens, it's definitely like, I think Christopher said, been my likeness for it, what's the right word? My love for it, whatever, has grown with each listen. And as often happens with U2. And I think it was Ian who said on the previous episode, or in our Slack somewhere, I'll quote him if he it wasn't on audio, but he had said something to the effect of he wasn't sure if U2 had an album like this in them still. And that's, to me, was kind of the greatest relief, and maybe that's what Collin was alluding to as well. It's just kind of like you're unsure. You hear the Blackout, you hear You're the Best Thing About Me, you hear the singles that they release and stuff, and you're kind of like, there's hints of great stuff, and there's hints of like you're not so sure stuff. And so overall, as a complete production, I'm like, sweet. They're still U2.
Yeah.
The singles that were released, for me, only hinted at the album. That's a good use of that word. Because you get songs, and we'll get into it, of course. But for me, songs like Little Things and Love Is Bigger, and it's just, those blew me out of the water. And then Red Flag Day for me is also really, really hitting home.
All right, well then let's dive right in. So we're anxious to obviously talk about songs. I was going to mention just at Buzz1Daddy, nice username, but said I would have thought if I had the album in response to how they listened to it. But so he had pre-ordered it through U2.com and doesn't have the album yet, nor has he heard it. So I do not, sadly, have anything to contribute. Boycotting the podcast until the CD shows up. This could take a while. So hopefully, I tweeted back to him that U2 is now costing us listeners, or U2.com, sorry to say.
Yeah.
But
he's blame him though, because we spoil stuff for him, right?
Yeah, totally. So I know he's mostly joking. I mean, he's frustrated with U2.com, obviously, in the store and stuff. But
who isn't?
Yeah, I know within our own staff, there's people who are waiting for special deliveries of stuff and things, and it's.
I just got my physical releases yesterday.
Right.
So, and the shirt. So.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
That's my first merchandise sighting, I think. So.
Oh, the boss I actually went to a store and bought it, so I didn't pre-order anything. I actually just went to Best Buy and felt pretty.
The old-fashioned way.
Old school.
That again.
Yeah. All right. So starting off with track number 1, "Love Is All We Have Left." Christopher, I think you were. Oh no, Collin. Sorry, we've got. I told you I'd screw up the initials. Didn't take until song 1. Go ahead, Collin.
So right when I hit play on this thing, I thought, oh, it's in shuffle mode, because this wouldn't open a U2 album. It just
right,
because it kicks right in with that drone, whatever that music, the organ or whatever keyboard effect, whatever it is we're hearing, just kicks right into it. It doesn't fade in. It just gets right to it. And I just thought, this is, what am I doing? Oh, this is the first track. Wow. Okay, this is not going to be the album that I thought it was. This is going to be that, like, cool. This is going to U2 kind of experimenting again. And then they bring in that great, that sort of, well, usually not great, the auto-tune effect that, which it normally is a kiss of death for any song. The way they use it here, it's like U2 sort of going back to like 70s prog rock sound that I think is pretty cool thing to put in there. So I love that this kicks off the album, because now I don't know what I'm going to hear, aside from the odd single here and there that I've already heard. Now I'm going to be surprised, and so I love that this is the opening of the album.
Yeah, I think I'm guessing from Tassoula shaking her head, she's not feeling that same love, but for the track. But before I'll let her get in on this one too. But I was just impressed after listening to the whole album. I realized how many songs actually have strings, synth, whatever variations on that.
On them, strings, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's that. There's Adam's using bass pedals of some sort. To me, the autotune, I'm with you, Collin, in that I don't like the idea of autotune, but I think they used it artistically on this as opposed to like any sort of corrective, trying to make Bono sound better than he actually does or anything like that. Or maybe he actually couldn't hit those notes and they completely disguised it with autotune just to make it over obvious or overdone or whatever. But Tassoula, what's your view on
Bono's voice doesn't need distorting. That's my view. And I really thought, in a way it's good it was this first song, because I had bad expectations and then stuff got better right after. Because I thought, if this is how the whole album sounds, I may be out. but I just thought, did Phil Spector get a hold of this? Why is this so overproduced? This could be a very beautiful, quiet, lovely opening, and not my favorite. I'm sure they'll open the tour with it though.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
They do that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would think closing the album, or closing the tour with this, I think would make more sense.
You guys went distorted. I couldn't hear what you said.
Yeah, closing it with this, or 13 obviously goes sort of that way as well.
Right.
But
that makes sense.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but
yeah.
There's a hint of the callbacks and stuff. I don't know how we'll discuss this throughout each song. Obviously, there's a hint of Iris in the bass line that I hear, and that could be intentional. It could be just be that it happens to be that same progression. Adam isn't. I'll say this and then hear the second part, because before you send me a hate mail, Adam isn't the most innovative bass player at times, but on this album I feel like when I first listened I was like, holy crap, Adam is
he does shine.
He upped his game on this one big time.
Adam is playing the best he's ever played, I think. His lines are his lines are full of character, and they're funky and they're powerful, and some lines are just the repeated notes. But he does have a lot of songs on this album where he lets loose. Like the Blackout is phenomenal.
Yeah. All right, don't get ahead of ourselves.
We'll get there. Right.
Okay, next up was Lights of Home. This is you as well, Colin. Start us off.
Yeah, so I think this is a case of an album peaking a little too early. But that's not to say the rest of the album is downhill from here. I'm just saying, like, this is the peak of the album, and it's at track 2. That never happens. Track 2 is never like the peak of any album, usually. But I guess I'm not alone. I'm seeing a lot of other people saying that this is their favorite song on the album, and I think for good reason. It's a great melody. It's the production is solid, but then you get to that ending, and it's just, I get tears in my eyes when I hear it. I get excited. I get giddy. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing, and it's a repeat. It's a repeat of the end of Iris, and so I love that callback to it. And I thought today, like, what if they close the show with this song?
Yeah.
I mean, closing the show with something. I know they like to close the show with a hymn, like 1 or 40 or something like that. But like, imagine closing it with something like this. It'd be like the Elevation tour when they closed with Walk On, and just like ending the show on a big high, and just cutting to black, and that's it, the end. I think that would be amazing. Yeah, and I know there's some controversy, I guess, over where they're getting part of the guitar riff from. Or I know the band Haim is involved in this song. I don't care. I think it's great. I don't care if it's not 100% atU2. I don't care. This is by far my favorite song on the album.
Yeah, they are. I mean, at least they're credited or involved with the production in some form on the liner notes. They're actually there, so it's not. Yeah. I guess the controversy maybe is like, what the heck? Why is another musician playing when it should be Edge or whatever? Or Adam. Yeah. And I don't have a problem there. We'll get to the other controversy that I have more of an issue with, but. I had written down too but funny because the first time I listened to it, I wrote down, this is Edge's best riff yet is my notes, which maybe it wasn't actually his riff in actuality, but either way, as long as he can play it, and I think the lyrically too, it hits all the I'll say this with love, like all the religious folks, the right notes for those folks with like, oh Jesus, if you're still my friend, what the hell you got for me, and I shouldn't be here because I should be dead. There's a lot of like that. That's Bono side, the spiritual side, I guess, of Bono, sort of seeking and if it's a discussion with maybe St. Peter at the gates or whatever, but it's a lot of those kind of right notes too, I think, for on the lyric side of it. And any other thoughts on Lights of Home before we move on?
The end of this one has a very Hey Jude feel to me, the whole na part of Hey Jude. So I can totally see this one being a show closer, and they just walk out singing it, and the whole crowd is going to be singing that for 15 minutes in the arena, and then walking out to the car, and then sitting in traffic.
Yeah. The new 40 is.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be a closer, but it is my favorite on the album. I completely agree. It's super strong.
There's the other notes I had was slide guitar solo, kind of echoes a bit of Kite sound to me, but again, that's just whether it's intentional or that's just Edge.
And all Kite four of them get to shine on this too.
Yeah.
You can hear all four different,
Lights of Home reminded me a little bit too of Cedarwood Road, just the aggressive character of it, but also there's a little bit of
which is Collin as well. I guess Collin's introduction is our.
I didn't initially take this one, but I decided what the heck, no one else is putting their name on it. So I don't know. When I first heard this song, I just thought, okay, all right. I guess this really is going to be Songs of Innocence Part 2, and it's, to me, like I don't think it's a bad song by any stretch. It's just I just thought this sounds like a B-side to Are You Gonna Wait Forever? It's like a B-side to a B-side. Like this, it just didn't do anything for me. Catchy, yes, but I don't know. When I heard it in the context of this album, though, and I really paid more attention to the production of it, I really had a greater appreciation for it. I hear when I don't know, maybe it's the sound quality of hearing it on the internet or on my computer first, but then like finally listening to it on headphones, there's echoes in the background. There's all these like Eno-esque little flourishes that I picked up on a little bit more. That that made me just kind of sit up and listen to it and just ignore the lyrics. Whatever. This is not Bono's finest hour as a lyric writer at all, but just paying attention to the simplicity of the production and the density of the production, it's become a much better song now to me than I thought it would be. So I'm happy to say I'm not hitting the skip button on this one like I thought I would.
You don't like whatever happened to, or the best thing that had ever happened to a boy is not ringing out for you?
Well, just like right at the beginning. I mean, when you look so good, the pain in your face doesn't show. When you look so good, and baby, you don't even know. I mean, it's like if I gave you a multiple choice question and said, okay, who wrote these lyrics? A, Bon Jovi, B, Bono, C, Bruno Mars, D, Christina Aguilera, and you'd be like, well, it's definitely not B. It's got to be one of these.
Exactly. Right.
Oh my God! Wait, yeah, right. So okay, so right there, I'm like, all right, I'm done with this song already. But I can appreciate the song on another level, which makes me like it now. So.
All right. Anybody else have your besting thoughts?
The film video changed my impression of this song a lot, and also the fact that my kids absolutely just love it and want me to sing it to them all the time, just all the time. And my wife and I now are just like, we have 12 other listen to something else for just a second. But it's not my favorite song. It is catchy as all get out. But I think I think the videos helped me, but it's an okay one for me.
Yeah. Sula, how about you?
That's as much as I have to say about it.
Yeah, it's like a pop. It's a poppy side of U2, which it doesn't really get my engine going or whatever either. And I mean, again, Adam's really good. I had written down Adam's bass line driving this thing, and so, but yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next track, "Get Out of Your Own Way," which the other. I don't know what we call them all. Are they actually singles? I don't know. I forget which is which, but anyways, it was
that one.
Before.
It definitely is.
Yeah. So, Christopher, this was you, I think.
Yeah. Well, the first thing about this one was it connected with me instantly. I mean, it's something that I'm trying to tell myself all the time, is just to get out of my own way and just be and do. And so, from a lyrical standpoint, it hit me the second it was released, and then just listening to it, the swell into the chorus, it's really effective for me. I wish it were a little bit longer. Like, I wish they did something a little bit better with the bridge, or the interlude, and I actually wish it had a bridge. But I like this one, and I love how it bleeds into American Soul with the Kendrick Lamar rap.
Yeah, that to me, completes the picture of what the song is gonna be potentially live, I guess, and how it feels and things like that. So, yeah. How about anybody else with "Get Out of Your Own Way"? Before I get out of your own way.
I've been hearing a lot of people compare it to "Beautiful Day." It has
definitely
that same kind of structure to it, and I'm fine with if this song took the place of "Beautiful Day" in the tour. I'd be so cool with that. Yeah, I love it. I think it's perfect.
You might get tweets about that one, but
that's
I was gonna say Jill might come at you for that.
I'm rarely on Twitter, so go for it. Do your best.
He won't see it if you send the hate mail.
That's right.
Yeah, Ken Cunningham in the chat says "City of Blinding Lights" too. It has some of that kind of feel to it too.
Yeah.
A little
bit. Sweeping thing.
I hear that. I hear that.
Yeah, I can't place it right now because I don't have it. I'm not listening to it, but I'd written down too. I love the Edge's guitar tone and the solo bridge, and then the chorus too with Edge just singing, like in the subway, even hearing Edge just like belt out the O's over the chorus and stuff, and the intro feels a little cheesy and I don't know, weak or whatever ish, but by the time the chorus hits and stuff, to me it's like you can just picture 40,000 people or whatever screaming along with that, and gets you the U2 chills.
So, that's what he'll do to us in concert, which will make it better.
And we're gonna do it, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Of course. Would have done it the other night if I made it in time. Not that I'm bitter or anything.
Yeah. Why didn't U2 wait for you and Jill? I don't know. Or Bono.
Why did they play when they said they were going to play? This comes down to that. But anyway. Yeah.
All right, next up is American Soul. This is you, Tassoula.
Yeah. I love this song. Happy to say that I love this song. And I love that they recycled the volcano riff. It's fantastic. And it hits in fact, I think, well, I hope that people that didn't love Volcano may embrace it more now hearing this kind of like, it's like it developed into something else. It has a second life. And I thought it was great on Saturday Night Live. I can't wait to hear it live.
Yeah, for me, I can attest to be one of those people who I wouldn't go so far as like Matt saying I hate Volcano, and he's come around, as we heard in the last episode. He's come around to liking Volcano again. So
I always liked it,
but it wasn't like my favorite, and they didn't play it live. And
it was totally my favorite.
They
did play it
once?
live.
Once or twice?
No, they played it like
times,
6 or 7 times because Jill heard it, Aaron heard it, like half of our staff has heard it.
Okay, but in the context of like the 100 cities or whatever, they played it relatively few times.
It was in the minority, yes.
But anyways, it's not hard to imagine that this will obviously get, like you said, a second life in live performance now inside of American Soul, and I think it's a great callback to that, and then building sort of from that into something else. And the only thing, and I'll throw this out here just for, I'm the non-American on the panel, and we have a lot of American listeners and a lot of international listeners, but is the one thing that I kind of, when I was watching the Saturday Night Live performance, is like, obviously U2 and Bono especially have a great love for America. Nothing wrong with that. Is it time to like, I was in a joking kind of way, is it time for maybe another country's turn as U2's obsession? And I kind of wonder sometimes with like Larry or Adam particularly, just being like, okay, do we need to wrap ourselves in the flag again? Do we have to do that one, the American flag or whatever, one more time? And I'm not like, don't send me, I love America. It's a great country. I just mean you have
a point. I have to admit, I kind of cringed when I saw that damn megaphone come out. I have to be honest. Like, I was not thrilled to see it. We are not having a great moment here in our country right now. No. So I'm not down with the celebration just yet, but like for commentary and for critique, which is half of this album, it's fair, But I to speak to your point, they went like Ireland, America, Ireland, America, and it's like, go ahead, go to Canada. You like Trudeau. Knock yourself out.
Yeah, and like I get the idea of like a commentary and stuff too. That's like, I think it's interesting, and it's I was trying to like put myself in the seat of somebody who's like a casual YouTube fan who dips in and backing out and like oh, here he goes again on the America and like whatever. And so I think it's a apt thing to focus on, and there's nothing wrong with that, and especially this time and place or whatever. But maybe
they know their audience. I mean, where are they making their money? Let's be honest here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think we'll find out, in about 5 or 6 months, what the intent, the final intent is for the song when they do it live. Are they going to do it as a critique of things that are going on in our country, or is it going to be another Joshua Tree tour, Kumbaya, we're all welcome here, kind of thing? A
little bit of both.
Or are they going to do a full-on, another full-on like Bullet the Blue Sky, anti-Trump kind of thing? That's what I'm most curious about with this song, and when they start performing it live.
Which does have the potential to be the sort of Bullet the Blue Sky,
new
version of that, or whatever you want to call it, I guess. And I don't see them pulling Bullet the Blue Sky out, but it could potentially sort of replace that in terms of angry, ferocious.
And once
songs.
again,
they take out all the Joshua Tree. It's coming out.
And once again, it's track 4 on the album, which Bullet the Blue Sky was, and Love and Peace or Else was number 4. And so there's some little bit of callback there too.
Yeah.
It was interesting when they released American Soul on iTunes for download. I was in Austria, and I woke up in the morning and I checked my phone, and I was like, oh my God, they have a new single out. And I downloaded, and I was walking the streets of Graz to the conference playing American Soul, and I was like, oh my God, this is totally the new Bullet. I felt that aggression and that anger, and the image of that megaphone was in my head. When I was listening to it for the first time, so I can totally see it taking the place of Bullet, or functioning like Bullet does or did in the shows.
Copy editor 1971. I think it was Michelle. She says Bullet must always remain. Yeah.
Yeah, that's her favorite.
Yeah, I thought so. So, but yeah, I it'd be hard to picture them doing a concert without Bullet, and same goes for like Streets, but who knows? Maybe they've got a completely other system with the Joshua Tree tour, and that's a discussion for another episode when we start prophesy or predicting the.
Did you hear that Bono has not listened to the Joshua Tree since 1987? He said that on Howard Stern.
Yeah.
He has not listened to the album in a row consecutively since then, and won't.
He must have done it for the tour, though, right? Like,
no, they asked him. He did not.
Okay.
He cherry picked certain songs to try to remember what to do. Obviously, he had to relearn them.
Yeah.
The ones that aren't already in heavy rotation, of course. But no, he said he didn't and he wouldn't because he cringes at his own voice.
Yeah.
Back then.
All right. Moving along. Next up is Summer of Love, which is also Tassoula.
Ooh, this is the one that reminds me of Gautier. And in a good way, like.
Oh yeah,
good call.
Doesn't it? Do you
good
hear
call.
It? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
I'm vindicated. I'm vindicated. I've got the music professor on my side for this one. It really is. It really is like very reminiscent of what's it called? His big hit. Somebody.
I used to know. Yeah.
Somebody used to know.
Yeah. Somebody used to know. Thank you. Yeah, but
that's
I
a
love
great
it.
song.
I think it's
a great song.
I think that's a great song, and I think this is a great song. And I'm happy. This is the kind of experimenting that I like U2 to do. And I liked it from the first listen, and it only gets better for me every time I hear it.
What if, and I know you know this, but what if I said to you, it's not actually U2 that did the experimenting? No, I'm just poking fun a little bit. Obviously,
I would say they're experimenting by risking their reputation using it.
Yeah, so it's I was
stuff
tweeting.
Like that doesn't bother me. It really doesn't bother me.
Yeah, and I don't. So what we're getting at is it's been revealed or whatever. Like, there's no big hidden secret here, but because One Republic, Ryan Tedder, the guy who produces One Republic or is in One Republic, also produced the album or helped produce a lot of the songs on the album. Tweeted a while ago, a year ago or whatever, that this song called Summer of Love that One Republic was doing, and if you listen to it, it sounds pretty much like the exact. Actually, sounds like, this is what is funny to me. It sounds like the exact riff, like they didn't even re-record it almost. But I don't know, Christopher. I don't know if you've listened to it that closely to compare, but I'm sure somebody has. And they can send us a tweet or whatever, and that's fine. But I
can just see Bono like strutting across the stage during this. It's going to be so fun live.
Yeah. The part that kind of irks me, I guess, is it feels like they're like, in contrast to the Haim riff, which is credited, they didn't credit anything with either Ryan Tedder.
Well, maybe they came up with it and gave it to them, and now they're stealing it back. How do you know? We're not in those. We're not in those studios.
And really, the point is, if One Republic and Ryan Tedder doesn't have a problem with U2 using it, then there's no problem.
Right.
Oh yeah, no, I know. And
that's probably like the best day of their life, right? Like, if U2 used my riff, I would not have a problem with it. Tell you that one.
But if they didn't pay you a cent for it,
how do you know they're not?
I don't. I mean, I'm not trying to invent controversy.
The thing that bothers me about like the witch hunt is that we don't know. When we know, then we can form an opinion about it. We don't know.
Yeah. No, the only part of it that bugs me is just that they weren't included in the liner notes as an obvious nod to whatever Ryan Tedder had with it. And maybe you're right. Maybe U2, Bono, whatever, wrote it. They tried it out as a One Republic song, and then it didn't work out for whatever reason, and then U2 took it back or whatever.
They toured for quite a while together. That's not completely out of the question. I mean, you never know.
Yeah, it's certainly possible, and maybe we'll see what happens when they play it live, even too, if they play it live, I guess, assuming they do. But and how that all plays out exactly, and what happens. So,
I'm hearing two things when I hear this song. I hear two things that are very striking to me musically. The percussion part of it sounds a little like the Zombies song "Time of the Season." If you remember the intro to that song, look it up, and you'll see a kind of a similarity there. And also the song by 10 Years After called I had it right here. I'd Love to Change the World. Adam's bass is kind of very much similar to that. And it's interesting. I think this song kind of fits in thematically with those two songs as well. So there might be sort of an unconscious or conscious influence with songs, from that era, the late 60s, which is when those were recorded, kind of sneaking into the music and the production here.
Yeah, which it would make sense. Like it sounds like it could. The riff even is like a playful "In a Little While" kind of riff, almost something along those lines with more, I guess, brightness to it or whatever. And there's an interesting. I think I pinged the YouTube team saying like, does it cut into the bridge really abruptly for you around the 2-minute mark? And then everybody said, yeah, it does. Because it almost sounded like so abrupt that I was wondering if my digital copy was like corrupted or something. But there's kind of like a really abrupt cutoff there, and which points to, I guess, how what they've talked about in interviews and stuff in promotion. They're not hiding any of this kind of stuff, but how the album was like really pieced together over a long period of time with band members coming in and out in various studios and all over the place, kind of like
it shows
stuff getting. Yeah, that's sort of like, I think, Tassoula, you had said even, but like that overproduced element, which sounds really good on some songs and really like, okay, maybe this one skipped the quality control meter kind of thing or whatever. And so
just because it doesn't need it, because the songs are good enough to stand. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Let It Be didn't need to be overproduced, and they re-released it years later naked. But anyway, go ahead.
There you go. It all comes back to the Beatles.
It does.
All right. Let's keep moving before we'll end up with a 3-hour show. And sorry for folks if you're having technical issues with the live stream. We'll do our best here to power through in the recorded version. Obviously, we're not as heavily produced as U2 is, and it won't take 3 years for 5 years for this album to be released. We'll have it out tomorrow, hopefully. But next up is Red Flag Day, which is who are we going with? Christopher.
Yeah, this one was one that I fell in love with first time. And it has echoes for me from the War album, and lyrically, it of course references Every Breaking Wave, and the fact that it's about refugees, but you can interpret the lyrics from several different perspectives, and that's not unique to this song, of course, but just the sound of it for me struck me and grabbed me right away. I love it. I love this from this album.
This one took a long time to grow on me, but now I'll find myself sort of humming it or singing it in my head, like not actually listening to the music, obviously, and like trying to place like, where is that riff from? What am I? Because it doesn't sound like a U2 thing even. It doesn't. It sounds like it would be like a B-side or like an early '80s song. There's a sort of a lot of synth stuff. There's a Police sound to me on it almost with.
Yeah. There's a Bruno Mars guitar riff in there, but anyway.
See, that one I don't hear I know you had said that. I don't
hear that one either, but
I can get
Adam's
where
bass stands out on this one too. It's so funky, and I mean he drives a lot of their songs, but this one in particular, there's so much character in this line.
Yeah. I think, and even the Bruno Mars, I think there's like a production style, even if nothing else, on Edge's guitar that's sort of heavy, I don't know, slapback echo or something, but like where it's just like a really tight guitar riff that Edge doesn't usually play that style, that is reminiscent of one of the Bruno Mars songs that names escape me right now, but
and it's a song with lazy in the title. That's all I can remember. But I get that. I mean it really is. There's a Bruno Mars song with lazy in the title, and that's the one I think I was thinking of when I heard it. But I get the references to like Touch or those like even pre-Boy songs that I'm with you on, but I don't hear the war, the military, the hard rock. This is more pop than rock to me.
Well, I
don't like it very much.
I understand the war thing. I when I hear, especially when they sing the chorus, and I hear Edge doing the vocal callback with Bono on that, I could totally close my eyes and picture and see 1983 era U2 performing this. It wouldn't sound quite as polished. I mean, it would have more reverb and echo on it, but I just the energy of it. Yeah, right. But I definitely can hear a 1983 U2 in this one.
Yeah, it's got elements of that, and that's with 2017 production overlaying the early 80s style, I guess, or songwriting or whatever that they. Which again, it feels like a band. This album feels very much like a band that's very comfortable with who they are. This is what they sound like. Obviously, taking influence from younger than them producers, and stuff like that, and mixing up how the arrangement might be or whatever, but very comfortable with sounding full on U2, but then also experimenting and being okay with that or whatever, I guess. So, it's Anyways, I'm getting lost in wanting to just go listen to the music right now. So next up is the showman, Little More Better. Where are we here?
Little More Better. Why'd they have to put that in there?
Yeah, that one doesn't.
Grammar, folks.
I don't know if I can like this song even, but again, it's one of those ones where it totally catches it's a little hook or whatever that gets stuck in my brain, and I'm like, I need to hear that again, and then, and then again, it's growing on me, and again and again and again. And luckily, I don't have to look at the title too often because that doesn't do anything for me either. I love the sort of fun they're having with the song, the recording. That I mean, I get Bono is a little bit of like his poking fun at himself, and that the audience, when you sing along, it makes it true, and like that. There's elements of it that'll be fun to sing along with in the concert and stuff like that. But anybody else with showman thoughts?
Yeah, this one kind of it reminded me of Wild Honey, but this one I think executed what it meant to execute better than Wild Honey did. Wild Honey was too much of a ripoff in my ears of another style. But this one had elements of that in it to me. And it reminded me also a little bit of In a Little While too. A little bit.
Yeah. A little more better.
Yeah.
Stop.
That's just for Michelle as well.
Now you're just doing it to bug us, yeah.
It seems like one of the ones that Bono often referred to in the lead up and the promotion, talking about lyrics and stuff, and it has that, and so it seems like it's something they're looking forward to play live, but it does feel like a little almost too light-hearted in a sense for U2 to play live. I don't know, we'll see, and maybe like
I think on the E stage or I stage, whatever the hell it's called this time. I think it could work there.
Yeah, I think You Look So Good, a little more better, a little more. That sort of call and response stuff. It'll be, I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing how they pull it off on the tour. That's for sure. So, all right. Speaking of on the tour, the song that we heard way back at the beginning of the Joshua Tree tour, "The Little Things That Give You Away." I don't have the notes in front of me. Who's going first on this one? Was this?
I can take this one.
Christopher, yeah.
Yeah. I did not hear this one on Joshua Tree, and I purposely stayed away from all of the hints at Songs of Experience until U2 actually released some stuff officially. And this is the one on the album that it destroys me every single time I listen to it. I mean, every single time I can't help but like bawl my eyes out. That the build in the second half of the song, I mean, it's a more than a 2-minute crescendo to the end, and it's just the way it's layered, and then it's so textured, and the lyrics again are a set of words that connected with me instantaneously. I cannot get enough of this song, and I can't stop crying when I hear the song, and I'm not afraid to admit it, and I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Ken Cunningham in the chat said they really held back in the live version, which is totally true. And I think maybe
Agree.
I don't know if it was the Edge trying to do the piano version live, and that wasn't it. Maybe that was originally how they had it in the recording, and then he went back after playing it live and was like, no, we need a guitar version. It just doesn't hold up when we play it with piano, or something. Who knows? But because it definitely felt sort of like weak or empty-ish at the beginning for sure, and once they got going, it was. You could tell there was something there, but it just needed something different, and so that's all right. I had in my notes of just like, if you heard this live before, Jimmy Kimmel, etc., the mix and the arrangement on the record is so much better than what we ever heard before. Adam's there, way better, way more than what you heard. At least, I mean, the mixes I heard. And I can't remember what the solo sounds like right now, but I'd written down the outro solo is Edge's edgiest solo in a while. So whatever.
Edge's edgiest.
Oh, it is like drenched and dripping with echo. I mean, and every layer has its echo. So there are echoes of echoes. I mean, it's crazy. And I love with a good pair of headphones, I mean, I get completely lost in that song. This is the high water mark. This is the climax of the album for me.
Nice. So there's sometimes at the end, the repeated sometimes.
Oh my God.
It's a good thing. It's not.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Your reaction to it makes me like it even more, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I think it's funny because I like I love doing these because often I'll find new things about a song that I'd kind of previously dismissed. Not that it was that way for me with little things, but I think hopefully for listeners too, they're kind of like, it gets me excited to go back and listen to it again because I hear things through other people's ears. And the lyric, sometimes I wake at 4 a.m. while all the darkness
That's
is
the
forming.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the
He's
one.
gonna start
Holy
crying.
cow.
Yeah.
Well, Monday, I had my ears cleaned for the first time in my entire life. And
I want to hear about that offline, by the way. I think I need the same. Okay.
I feel like Superman now, and I can hear everything. So the first thing I did, after
I guess it is one of his Superman's powers. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, super hearing. Well, the first thing I did after we put the kids down was I listened to Songs of Experience because I was like, I'm sure I'm missing something, and I was in awe and shock listening to it. And then it got to Little Things, and I was just I couldn't control you, nerd. But yeah,
awesome.
I mean, there's so many sounds on this, and it's so subtly layered and textured. That's probably the thing I love most about this one.
So that's we can say a required listening experience for the next U2 albums. Everyone gets their ears cleaned before they
Right?
take it in.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Let's keep moving. Next up is Landlady. Tassoula, you wanted to start this one off?
I just can't get past the title. It's killing me because it's a good song. It is a good song, and I enjoy it. I like it. The more I hear it, the more I like it. It's nice and quiet. It's very, we know where it's going and where it's going to end, and that's great. But the title is so bad. It's like I can't separate the crappy title from the beautiful music. Why didn't somebody talk them out of that?
I know. I haven't tried to think of a better lyric for Bono there, but it doesn't. That's why I tweeted sort of asking people is this a term that's of endearment in other countries? Is it a UK Ireland thing? And it's not really. And
it's like your rent is due.
Yeah,
that's what it makes me think about.
Right.
Gee, my rent's due.
Conjures up sort of in the movie it would be stereotypically it'd be crotchety old lady or whatever, landlady who's banging on your door and
sure,
yelling at you
collecting
or
their
whatever.
money.
It's the person you call and say, "When are you going to fix my radiator?"
Right.
That's
Exactly.
not a term of endearment.
That's exactly
I
it,
can
though.
see
You're
for
right.
Ali
Exactly.
Hewson.
Yeah.
And we know his feelings for Ali at this point, crystal clear.
Has he written any other songs?
Beautiful love story.
Yeah.
Beautiful love story. Couldn't love them anymore. But yeah, I could have picked 17 titles better than this from what's in the lyrics.
Yeah, and even so in the chorus too, it has that obviously refrain in there, and so I love I don't know what it would be called, the outro, the post-chorus, the whatever, where the every wave that brought me, and he's repeating a bunch of lines at the end of the song. I don't have them all in front of me here, but
It's like the elevation thing where he's just rhyming illusion and intrusion, blah blah blah. It's like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's a gimmick, but it works for Bono, at least for me. I know other people.
It does work. No, it works.
But it
works
really,
for me too. Yeah, totally.
That's the Adam Sandler, I think, sketch on SNL for Bono of just rhyming words or whatever over and over. But or maybe Jimmy Fallon. But it's aside from that little hook of the title and in the chorus, I love the song, and I keep coming back to it in my head lyrically or riff wise or whatever. But yeah. Anybody else with Landlady
I love
thoughts?
the intro to that song. I mean, I love Bono does not get enough credit as a storyteller in his songs sometimes. And I love when he takes that approach to songwriting where he's setting up a scene and setting up a situation and setting up a character that's not necessarily him. In this case, it's definitely him. But I always appreciate that aspect of his songwriting when he does it, which isn't often enough in my opinion.
Yeah, he does a great job of it, and especially in this song. So, okay. Any final thoughts, Landlady? Tassoula, did you get your Landlady thoughts out on paper or on
I think so.
recording?
Yeah. The 2 points I wanted to make were terrible title and elevation rhyme.
Yeah. Ken Cunningham said, sounds a little like The Police's Every Breath You Take at the end, which kind of just a
There's
refrain.
a bit of that. I can hear that. I can
For
hear
sure.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, everything he's given me, I'll let him slide on writing songs about the missus. So there you go. And presumably he cleared it with her, I guess, as far as a term of endearment. She she's okay with it or whatever. So I guess in the end, that's all that really matters. But
this is the type of thing, though, I have to say. I wonder if this is the type of thing that makes the albums come out 4 or 5 years at a time, because they argue over stuff like this. Please tell me there was an argument before they named this Landlady, right? Like, maybe this is some of the holdup that we always get. They're done with the music. The music's great.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Landlady.
I always picture it being like there's arguments there where Larry gets involved in probably, and arguments where Edge, and maybe it's Edge, Bono, and Larry. But I picture Adam like opening up, getting the record for the first time,
corner, sipping
and
tea.
he's after it's out, he's like, oh, Landlady, totally. That's what we're calling it. Sip of tea.
They told a story again on the Stern show about Bono throwing Larry's drum set during a gig. I've never heard that story.
They've mentioned that
in
once
the
before.
history of my years following them, I've never heard that. But man, I would love it if there was footage of that.
Which you can totally see them doing back in the day of like, especially
right
when and Bono kind of like thinking Larry's being a jerk about something, and when he's actually like trying to fix something, and
he was trying to fix his drum pedal or something, and Bono was like, "Talking Heads is in the audience." But yes, my point. Back to my point. If they're arguing about stuff for years and years, I hope that at least somebody argued about this, even though they didn't win, obviously.
Yeah.
What if this was the best option that they thought of?
Oh God, no.
Yeah. Could have been worse.
Yeah. Feels like it could have been a B-side or a Sweetest Thing, post-album thing or something.
But the song is good. That's the thing. It is a good story. It's
I think it's Collin. It's Collin this time.
Yeah. Chris.
Yeah, in my defense, everybody has a C.
It's like time zones with you.
Yeah.
So, kind of just taking a cue from what you just said, Chris, about Landlady maybe could have just been a B-side. Wouldn't it be great if this album really did go from The Little Things to Give You Away right into the Blackout? I mean, I could see that in the show. I could see that in the show, like closing that first set with Little Things, coming back for the encore on the Blackout. I mean, that would be phenomenal. I know a lot of people are predicting this to be the show opener, which would also be cool because it's got that opening like Zoo Station.
I would love that.
Joey Ramone riff. That would definitely work, no question. I'm happy to say that. I thought that was cool. But I think it still works on its own. It's got I think it's one of those that I love singing along with in the car, like at the top of my lungs. I'm not embarrassed to do that with this song. So, I'm not crazy about the remix. It's on the B side of the Record Store Day release, but I again, lyrics aside, because I think throwing the names in there, I just think is super cheesy and
I agree.
I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one.
Totally agree.
That's where I am a little embarrassed to sing along. I'm just like, do you really have to say Jack?
Because you're shouting out names.
Oh no, man! I point to the car next to me. Hey, Ned.
I will say it gets
Jack,
the
right? Okay, good.
Yeah, it gets the 10-year-old, 7-year-old vote because my two boys love it. Like that's the song because of those things. Like it's which obviously is not Bono's target audience there, but
kind of is. He's going for the young ones, he says. So.
I know I don't know if they listen at 40. I don't know how you say that on Twitter, but I tweeted something about that, and they replied actually that it's there is reference to that I forget which names are in Blake's Songs of Experience and Songs of Innocence, or the other way around. They are actually those names. Some of those names are used, so there's a potential that it's a deeper meaning. But I feel like sometimes those kind of things with U2 are like a happy coincidence that they stumble across, and they're like, oh, that would totally work here or whatever. And then we all like.
But it does is make you think of the Paul Simon song.
Yeah, that's what In the Slipstream said. Get on the bus, Gus.
Just get on the bus, Gus. Yep.
Yeah.
Get past that, and like Christopher, you said the Adam Clayton's little triplet note hook or whatever at the start of each line.
Oh my God, yes. Adam on this song is a huge Adam fan here, and I mean, this song when I first heard, I was so excited for Songs of Innocence when I first heard and watched the Facebook video, because the first thing that jumped, I mean, it's aside from Edge's guitar, and Edge does some awesome sounds on the Blackout, but this is Adam's song. period. I mean, he drives this, and his bass it's aggressive, it's overdriven, it's funky, it's sexy. I love it. I love it.
Okay, then I'll put. I brought this theory up one last time, and this is the last time I'll mention it for any people who hate conspiracy theories. But I was wondering with Adam Clayton, whether how much of it is Edge playing the bass and giving Adam, because Adam just feels like this is purely like judging by the book by its cover, or whatever. He looks laid back. And even on stage, like messing up things like With or Without You or whatever sometimes. Like, I kind of doubted his like ability, and like I want to believe, and at the end of the day, I don't care. Like, I'll love the band. I'll love listening on live and all that kind of stuff. I'm just curious as a musician where, like, because I wouldn't put it past the band to like, who cares who comes up with the riff, if it's Larry or Bono or Adam or Edge, and then Edge plays it live or whatever. Who cares, right? But how much of it do you think is Edge like saying, okay, this is the riff. This is what you're going to do. Because it almost, like we were saying, Adam's gotten better suddenly.
Yeah.
And it's like, did Adam die and he got replaced by... No, I'm just kidding. But like,
Stop.
I'm just
He
kidding.
still came up with New Year's Day, please.
Oh, I know.
Well, I mean, these... I've read that, Adam takes lessons and talks playing bass with people when they're not on tour. So, I mean, these guys are still honing their craft, and... Yeah, they're pushing 60, and Bono's voice sounds better than it has in a while, and Edge is still on point. So these guys are still honing their craft. So while I do have suspicions about the origin and whatever, I think he can play it, and this coming tour, I think we're going to see it.
Yeah, and I don't, just to clarify, and then I'll put this to rest forever, I don't have any doubt about his ability to play. And it's more just a curiosity of my curiosity as a musician of how the studio, just how it all works. And I'd love to be a fly in the wall, no pun intended, of the recording process and how that all has gone.
Did you watch when they, remember during, was it All That You Can't Leave Behind? I think it was, when they had the studio cam. Did you watch that, Chris, at the time?
Yeah, I remember some of it anyways, yeah. So
because you did get to see how stuff, I mean, it wasn't like, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week kind of stuff, but you did see how they work off of each other, and there are ideas exchanged. Of course, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can trace the nucleus of one specific, I'm sure you can, of one specific riff. Was it you, Adam? Yes or no? I mean,
if Adam ever comes on the show, I'll put that to him, okay? There we go.
Just ask him. I mean...
All right. I'm guessing another favorite of Christopher's, Love is Bigger Than Anything in Its Way.
Yeah, it's been
is
such...
Is it Tears, or is it a...
No, this is really good. 2017 has been such a weird and heavy year, and and one of the reviews that I read, criticized this album for splashing love all over the place as kind of a banal
like
concept.
A bad thing.
Yeah, but hello, it's Bono, duh. And love in all forms, right? And two, we need a message like this now more than ever. Like this, because things are so dark in the real world. They're so heavy, and they're so cantankerous, and they're so contentious that we need just someone to say, you know what, just forget it all, love each other, and it's going to be fine. And he does it on this song, and it's another song where it swells to a big climax, and I love that stuff.
There's your title. It swells to a big climax.
There's a part of that. Like I think I read the same review. I forget where it was.
I think it was in the New Yorker.
Yeah, the New Yorker. Yeah,
I think it was.
Some people to go listen to something else or whatever, and it's like what. I don't get. I understand that criticism of U2 in terms of like, oh, they're still on about that, but also like, what else? What else would they be doing at this stage, especially? But and are you so cynical? Is the world so cynical that we can't have some of that, like the light, the love, the I don't know. I'm really resonating with that too, Chris. For this album coming out when it did, the way it did, and as heavily produced as it is or not, trying to like give up some of that crappy cynicism that I carry, and not give into like not like loving it just because it's U2. Like there's still room for criticism. We've been going for an hour and whatever and criticizing lots of it, but yeah. letting go of that sort of darker side almost as we lead into Star Wars.
We have to.
Yeah.
They're
So
just
so
damned
often,
if they
anyway.
do and damned if they don't.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, the first half of their career was anger, and people hated them
Right.
for being angry all the time, right? And then Octung Baby comes along, and they're like, "What'd you do? Why'd you change your sound? You're U2." Whatever.
Well, and
and
you know,
also,
if
that's like, I mean, sorry, being with the Beatles is how much of their songs are about love and are about positive
Right.
things.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's why their legacy has lasted as long as it has. And I think this is just kind of one of those albums. It reminds me of Abbey Road in a way, you know, which was an album that ends with them saying, "And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make." And I think that was a great note for the Beatles to go out on. Technically, you know, I know Let It Be came out after that, but anyway.
But you were just waiting for me to correct you.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. And every other listener, but so I think like they're just kind of, I think they sort of look at this album in that kind of way, this sort of late career album that's going to go out on a positive note. And
yeah, I think just that unabashedly positive, which, like I said, cynic in me wants to hate the song for being cheesy, but the optimist in me loves it like crazy. And so whatever, just like the opening kind of like, I don't know if it's a vocoder or whatever, like a bit of an effect on this vocal, that sort of like synth sounding vocal.
Oh, it
on
was
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, if you're in the sort of speaking again with the like sort of the Christian world, it sounds like almost like a worship song that some like Hillsong or one of those folks will produce next year, riffing off of what they heard from U2 or whatever, because it is kind of like has that all the sort of hallmarks of one of those kind of songs, and that's why it's kind of like, all right, but I'm like, I think somebody else is saying in the chat room, like, I cannot wait to hear this live and just sing along with 40,000 other people who are in love with the song, in love with the band, in love with whatever. And chat room in the slipstream says, "I wish there was a callback to Sleep Like a Baby." I'll just let you I'll throw that one in there for you and let you deal with the consequences of that one. But I can't wait to hear it. So, and again, Adam Clayton all over this one, loved it, whether it's bass pedals or bass or whatever he's playing.
Doesn't matter.
Whether he thought of it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I have no doubt on these ones that total Adam Clayton. It's all right. Finally, in the standard album version, I guess.